All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new edition of the Staten Island Soccer Report. As always, Frank Tricomi sitting next to me. Frankie, what's going on? We got a new live show. We're back in Studio A.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here and talk about this sport.
That you love so much.
Yes.
And you love teaching so much.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're involved in like 15 teams. No, I'm only kidding. Maybe 3. At least 3.
Only 3 right now.
So you're involved with 3 youth soccer teams. All right, we'll start with from the youngest, and we'll work our way up.
All right.
Give us a quick update because we got a whole lot to cover today. I think we needed like a 2-hour slot today, but they won't give it to me. So let's try and get this done quick, and we'll try and cover everything.
Okay.
All right, the first team that you're covering, the Great Kill Sting. Give us a quick update on what they're doing.
We've been on a little bit of a roll as of late. We've won our last 3 after tying and losing the first 2. So obviously, we're in second place right now.
Okay.
We may have a little bit difficult time catching first.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. They're a team that we lost to and that we don't play again.
Well, it's unfortunate because the league really doesn't care about, what goes on in these games. Because if they did, they'd do a better job with the scheduling. And I'll go out and say that because you don't play the team that's ahead of you.
Yeah.
Do you?
Well, we played them once.
And yeah, that's the thing. Only one time, so you're not going to get another shot at them.
Well, it's just kind of like I always said, with an odd number of teams in the division, you're not going to play everybody equally.
Right.
So someone could have, let's say, 2 games against, let's say, either a new team or a less skilled team.
So what was the result?
It's just luck of the draw.
What was the result in that game? You played St. Joseph?
Yeah, it was St. Joseph, St. Thomas.
What was the score of that game?
It was a 3-2 loss.
Okay.
Which actually I wasn't a part of.
All right, so that being said, yeah, you didn't.
I think we played a little short that game.
Well, you had a shot at them, so I mean.
Tried to reschedule the game in July. Not before the schedule even came out. Right. And unfortunately, you know how that goes.
Yeah.
And you request like a blockout date.
I mean, I guess I'll have to take it back a little bit. They scheduled you at least one game against them. That's the thing. That's why these games, and I always said it from when we had the rush, every game is so important. It really is, because you don't know if you're going to play them again, your opponent, and whatever the result is, maybe you want to play another team again because it was such a great game.
Yeah, well,
so you never know. In every game, you got to take it. It's huge and very important. So.
Unfortunately, it was actually only the 3rd game that I've missed.
Okay.
In 6 years.
Right.
And I think I've coached, or I've been a part of the coaching staff for about 160 games.
Right. Okay.
So I picked a bad one to miss, I guess. But now, all in all, we need help, quote unquote, to pull this thing out. So we're going to be scoreboard watching.
Well, like they say in professional sports, destiny is not in your hands right now, but they can always get tripped up by somebody else. We'll talk about U11 Girls Division 1 and what happened this weekend.
Yeah.
But we'll save that for later on. What's going on? What else? You got a travel team, right? All right. So that's pretty much the Great Kill Sting. 5 games in, 3-1-1. Got a couple more games to go. Hopefully you finish up on a winning note.
Yeah.
And that'll wrap up that season. And you have a travel team. Give us an update. What happened with the Columbus Day weekend that just passed?
Oh yeah, the Columbus Cup in Brooklyn.
Right.
It was a learning experience. Let's put it that way. We kind of got our heads handed to us. But
those things happen.
Again, I think the best score I think we had was like 7-0. Against us. So, and there may have been even 10, maybe even up to 12 or 13.
Yeah, that's a little unfortunate. You know me, I never really like seeing scores, final scores like that. It just doesn't do any good for the game, the other team, and even the team scoring. Really, what do you get out of that? That's terrible. Maybe they should have done something a little better to put you in a competitive group.
Yeah.
Hopefully next time going forward. But how many games have they played in their regular season?
I think we're at like 4.
All right, what's the name of that team anyway?
It's the Silver Lake Soccer Academy Sharks.
Okay, so the Sharks. We'll stick with the Sharks. The Silver Lake Academy Sharks. A couple of games into their regular season. What's the record there? What's going on
the
there?
The record stands, I believe, at 0-4.
0-4.
With the first game actually being the closest and most competitive. It was a 2-1 loss.
Really?
And that was just one of those games that were neck and neck.
Right.
They scored, we scored.
Okay.
The game stood tied for a while. They scored a late goal, and that was the end of it, 2-1. I believe the second game, it was,
Right.
I think it was a 3-0 loss.
Okay.
The third game, we got blown out. I believe it was like 9 or 10-0. And the last game, the first one that we've actually traveled for was in Springfield Boulevard at, I think it's Montpelier Park.
Okay.
We lost 6-0 this past week.
Well, it does pay to mention that it is the first season this team was assembled and put together, so
Yeah.
that has a lot to do with it. And you hope that you go through some growing pains here, maybe a little. And the coaches. How many coaches you have on that team? This team you have nothing to do with.
No, this team.
What do they got there?
There's a head coach. There's 2 others that actually help out during
Okay,
practice.
so you got about 3 people altogether.
The director, Frank, he
Right.
comes down and assists with the practice and whenever he can with the game.
Right.
And if Coach Shaw needs help, he's the head coach. If he needs help during a game or whatever, due to anyone else not being there,
Okay.
some of the dads pitch in. So.
All right, that's always good to. Well, hopefully they'll get their stuff together there. And again, it's a first-time travel team.
Well, the thing is, too, what happened was this team was formed coming out of the Silver Lake Clinic
Right.
in late July.
Okay.
A lot of people have vacation plans.
Right.
So when we went to go practice in August, a lot of kids didn't make it.
Right.
August is a big vacation month.
Well, for some people, not everyone.
Some of them.
No, it's not for me. That's
Well, excuse me.
Not for me.
Some of these families already had travel plans scheduled before they knew that they were going to be joining
Right.
the travel club. So we really didn't get full teams to start coming, I think, till after Labor Day.
Okay.
So, you're talking about 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
All right. Well, for the Sharks, hopefully going forward, they'll improve. I'm sure they will. It's an all-around year, right? You're going to be going indoors pretty soon.
Yeah.
So at least the kids will be. You know what? When you assemble a team for the first time, I always give it at least a year before you start seeing some progress. That's just me. Some coaches might give it more.
Yeah, we're gonna, like you said, we're gonna
A
be going
calendar year.
indoors.
We're talking a calendar year.
Yeah.
Not a season, But good luck to the Sharks. Hopefully they'll take a bite out of some of these other teams.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move right along. I got a bone to pick with you.
Okay,
I got a bone to pick, and I'm going to do it tonight live on the Staten Island Soccer Report. You have another team that you're affiliated with, all right? And that's the Great Kills Starlets.
Yes.
All right, let's get an update on that team, and then I'll pick the bone with you.
All right. Right now, I think we're sitting at 1-2-1. I believe we're 4 games in, midway through.
Is that an updated standings there? Do you guys update them every week?
Yes.
Or you wait to the end? What do you guys do?
No, that's an
It's a
updated.
weekly? Okay, good. That's the way it should be. Well, anyway.
That's updated. We're midway through. We had a game that was rained out.
Right, okay. So, right, you
on
should
the
be at
4th,
5.
So we should be at 5, yes.
All right, yeah, you got
But
them right now. All right,
we're
so,
sitting at 4.
so 1 win, 2 losses, and a tie. You had a game Saturday.
Yeah, working backwards.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was a game that I think we definitely could have won.
Yeah.
That we didn't. I'll take some of the blame for that.
I got to tell you, you got to take all of the blame for it because you played a team that couldn't get out of its way for, this is the second year now that they're in existence? What is it? They played one full year
Yeah.
last year. Haven't won a game. I don't even think they scored more than 2 goals. And if you go back and look, I think if they scored more than 2 for 16 games, it's a lot. That's how
Yeah.
bad that they are. And no disrespect to them. It's just I'm just going by the standings, and the Staten Island Soccer League holds standings. So we just look at the numbers.
Yeah.
All right. So we're just reporting the facts. Now this team hasn't won anything. For you to go into their ballpark, to their field, and come out with a loss, I got to take it's got to be on you. It's you subbing players in and out. You not doing a good job of getting your players motivated to play. Again, we're talking youth soccer anyway. It's no big deal, but it is what it is. And you took a loss from a team that they probably thought they won the World Cup.
Yeah.
How was their reaction after the game?
Oh, their reaction was like they had won the World Cup. And
but you know what? I'm sure you did that purposely so they would feel good, right?
Yeah.
Right? You did that?
Well, if there was anything good that came out of it, it was, a team that was pretty down.
Right.
But unfortunately, on the losing side of that, it doesn't feel that way right after the game.
Were your players aware of this team's losing streak, we'll say?
I believe they were.
They were, right?
And
so that can't be anything good. I mean,
the only thing that I'll say was they did have,
they made some changes to the roster.
They made some changes.
Okay.
They were a physical team,
Wow.
which I think may have thrown the stalwarts off a little bit. And then a few bigger girls
So
that were able to kind of.
Patrides pulled one out of their sleeve, right? They caught you off guard a little bit.
Yeah,
They saw you coming. They knew that you were previously with the Richmond Town Rush.
They did have, again, which this is all, within the rules, nothing against it.
Yeah, no.
But they did, from what I noticed and gathered just from the surroundings, they did have at least one player that was for that age group that plays on the U12 team that's playing up. She's obviously a very skilled player, travel player. I believe her mom is the coach to that team, Coach Erica. And obviously, again, within the rules,
So you're gonna tell me one player made the difference for them?
Well, when you're dealing with a team like that, you have one skill Let's not forget, this has got to be one of the better players on a team that's playing a year up and dominating.
Right.
They're playing a whole year ahead of themselves.
Patridi Panthers White, Frank is talking about. Patridi Panthers White, that's the team you're referring to.
So they're playing, they should be U11. That's their proper age.
Okay.
They're playing a whole year up.
They're playing up, right.
Most of the team is travel, and I believe she's one of the better players on the team.
Yeah, probably true.
So I think it's a fair enough assessment to say that this one particular player is probably one of the best U12 players based on the fact that, a lot of times, and I won't say all the time, because it's not 100% and it's not proven, but a lot of times, or even 50% of the time, the coach's kid is one of the better kids on the team.
Yeah.
Just because it just means that maybe they work a little bit more. If you're a coach and you're willing to volunteer your time for someone else's kids that you don't even know at the beginning, could you imagine how much time you put into working with your own kid,
Yeah, I'm
so
sure they do.
A lot of times, and you know how that goes. If you're willing to volunteer time to strangers, what kind of time would you volunteer for your own kid? So that's where.
All right, Frank. Again, you're losing to a lonely. This was what's the name of that team? Patridi.
Panthers Pride.
This is the Pride, right? Losing to the Pride team. Well, they had Pride on Saturday.
Yeah,
They had some Pride on Saturday, but you know what? I guess I'll tip my hat to the Pride for beating Great Kills on Saturday, and I don't know. wasn't there. I really kind of wish I was in a way.
Well, I called you. We needed a ref.
I had all the duties going on, but
we needed a ref fast. Unfortunately, the ref didn't show up for that game and the game before.
Yeah, that's kind of bad.
They tried to call up on me to do the game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as you could tell through my voice, I really wasn't up to it.
Well, you know, I don't know what happened with that ref. Maybe he did call in and say he couldn't make it. But if he did a no-show, I think they should suspend him for like a couple of weeks, not assign him any games. I think I don't know what the real rule is. We have to find out. Get somebody from the referees on here, or find out at the next meeting.
And you knew that there was no hope because a 3:30 game anywhere, there were no other games being played. You knew that you were pretty much like dead in the water.
Well, what about any director from any field official from?
There was no one there.
Wow, that's late afternoon.
3:30 game at Petriti's.
Yeah.
From what I've noticed, there hasn't been as many games there lately.
All right, well, you know what? Let's stick with this division here. Let's wrap it up a little bit. We'll go right down it.
Okay.
Looks like St. Joseph, St. Thomas. The Lady Stars are on top right now. Just for now, they only have a 3-point lead. They're at 3-1. I believe they lost this weekend to St. Charles. I think that's accurate. I don't know what the score is. We didn't look that up, but they did lose today. Saturday.
And St. Charles still has one less game on the board here.
Yeah, that's the rain out with you. That's probably the game.
Okay.
I believe. And there might have been another game just because they only have 3 posted. But anyhow, St. Charles is in second place. Blessed Sacrament. This is the U11 Girls Division 2. Blessed Sacrament sitting at third place, tied with Great Kills. And then we got the Our Lady Queen of Peace, followed by the Pride. Looks like they're both tied. Yeah, they're both tied. The Queen of Peace and Petriti's tied with 3 points apiece in the basement. But it's you know what? It just doesn't seem like Great Kills is making any kind of progress here. And you guys have a few of our players that were with the Richmond Town Rush, and it just makes me believe that the girls are not getting any better. I mean, it's over a year now. It's a little bit over a year and a half almost, that they've been on that team, and the team record-wise, we're going with the team record, has really not improved.
Well, you got to take...
You have any answer for that?
You got to take a few things into consideration. Obviously, it's obviously not the same team, which was evidenced by the last season of the Richmond Town Rush.
Oh, we're not comparing. No, there's no comparison with Richmond Town at all. But what I'm saying is that you had a full year with these players.
Yeah.
Now we're almost through another half a season, and the team seems like they're stuck on 1 to 2 wins. That's like you're gonna average 1 to 2 wins a season.
I think it's been a little bit more than that. We may be pushing.
Can you win this division?
The thing is,
and I'm just right now. You're a coach. I'm getting on you as a coach.
I'm saying statistically, anything could happen. You show up to the field, anything could happen. But statistically, what's been proven over the last, I'd say, year or two, is that St. Joseph, St. Thomas, and St. Charles are going to battle this out for the division.
Yeah.
Both of them will probably, and I said this to you on this show last month or back in August when we looked at the seeding, both of those teams will probably wind up moving up. And there is 1 or 2 teams that'll probably wind up moving, wind up moving down.
Well, you know what? There's a 3-team race here, and you're still in it by the points as far as moving up. If you could get to the second place spot.
Yeah.
Because you're only 2 points right now out of that, the way it stands now. But you got some work to do.
But we also got 4 games, 1 extra game on the board.
All right, but fine. You got to win. You have 4 games to go. All right, that's 12 points.
Statistically, St. Charles and St. Joseph St. Thomas will be winning this division. They were what I've been calling all this time tweeners.
Well,
They've been going flipping back and forth.
I'll just
winning
say,
D2, going back to D1.
is Great Kills ever going to win this division? As long as you're there. You have a lot of work to do. Fair to say?
Yeah.
The players have to work, and it's not. I mean, you can only do so much as a coach.
You know,
a coach can only do so much, but the players have to go out there and get it done. Now,
the real big problem with this team that I see right now, and it's a problem with a lot of teams. I know that as good as even the Rush was, the Rush went through this too, and that's obviously the team. I don't really have no basis to compare it to that many other teams, but offense, scoring. The defense isn't bad. We haven't been really been getting blown out. The division leader is St. Joseph St. Thomas Lady Stars. We kept that game real tight in the whole first half against them. I think they got one goal by us in the whole half. So we're not getting blown out of the water here, but we're just not really scoring goals.
all right.
We don't really have.
Well, what do you got here?
Our
so
best
far?
goal scorer is our goalie.
Well, you gave up as much as you scored so far. Looks like you got 8 goals and you gave up 9, so that's pretty even.
We're not really getting blown out here.
Yeah, I don't think too many. Well, the only team, Patrides scored 2 goals and gave up 13. They're the worst.
Everything's been.
Everyone else looks pretty even. Even St. Charles 7-4. All right, well, you know what? I expect better things from you, only because you were assistant to me for at least 5 great times with the Rush. I expect better things from you. This is why I keep a close eye on you and your teams and the scores. So get that going a little bit, huh? Let's finish up this season with a couple of wins here for Great Kills, will you? All right? Making me look bad here. Anyway.
Maybe I should put a wig on Steven.
Do something.
Send him out as a lady.
Whatever you need to do. Let's get a couple of wins here for Great Kills, both teams. Well, the boys are okay. But, all right. Let's move on to Division 1.
Yeah.
U11, Girls Division 1.
The heat is on.
I got to tell you, we were talking about earlier with your boys' team about not being able to catch a team that you played once already. You wanted to have another shot at them. We were kind of like in the same situation a little bit, only because they played one less game and we knew that they were going to win, but you never know. Teams can always get tripped up, and sure enough, Star of the Sea gets tripped up this weekend by St. Patrick's. Not a loss, but it was a tie. So they played 5 games. They're 4-0-1, sitting in second place with 13 points. Richmond Town sitting in first place with a 5-1 record, but played 1 more game.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, I noticed that Star of the Sea has 1 game canceled, which is their last game of the season. It says canceled. I don't know what that means. Is it canceled for that weekend? Are they going to reschedule? I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't think it would be fair to them if this was a tight race down within 2 points. Anything within 3 points, it wouldn't be fair to them to cancel a game.
Yeah.
So that, they won't have a chance to either win that division or at least tie it or something like that. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see until November 1st, until we play them. Well, they have a game this weekend. If they win that game, they'll leapfrog us back into first. They'll have a 1-point lead, and then we play them.
Okay, and that'll be at the point where both teams will have, 6 games in?
Right.
So then you play them in Game 7.
We play them in Game 7.
Too bad that wasn't Game 8. That
And then,
set up,
and then
nice showdown.
now, but don't forget now. Okay, we played them in game. Let's just assume that they're going to win this week.
Who do they play this weekend?
That's a good question. I'm not sure, but let's assume they're going to win. They haven't lost yet.
Okay.
Let's assume they're going to win. Give them 16 points. We have 15 points, correct?
Yeah.
We play them. Regardless of the winner, there's still going to be that one last game.
Yeah.
For someone, things could go wrong. It's not. No one clinched anything. Right? What has to happen?
Well, if they win, let's just say for argument's sake, they win this weekend, and they're sitting at 16 points.
Yeah.
If they somehow beat the Lightning,
They'll be up 4.
they'll be at 19.
Yeah. 4 point. Then
They'll have
then,
clinched.
Exactly.
You need
right.
to win the game.
Or they need to get tripped.
If the Starfish win this weekend,
We need to beat them.
you need to beat them.
Okay, exactly.
That's why I said the heat is on.
Yeah. Or they could
You
get
didn't
tripped.
figure it out that way, did
No. I was just because
Hey, the thing is,
of that canceled game, that's got me more
you? Yeah.
confused than anything else. Why St. Patrick's and that game is canceled? They played each other this week and they tied. So I want them to play again since St. Patrick's could handle them.
Well,
It seems that way, at least, So anyhow, again, yeah, it's a little confusing still, but we're sitting on top right now, and hopefully this weekend, the best thing would be for them to not get any points this weekend.
well, then you're
And then
on top of that.
then we have 2 options next week.
Yeah.
You can tie, and then so we'll be in good shape. But we'll see. Hopefully, things go in our favor. And again, you're not going to be recognized by the league. You're not going to get anything from the league for winning a division. Your club may give you something at the end, and maybe your coach will take care of you.
What do you mean, a dust collector?
Yeah, something like that. So, but it is nice for the girls. At least
Do
they'll
you like
know.
the dust?
Nah.
I got a nice
I got
leather
plenty of
though.
dust collectors.
You need a French maid?
Yeah, so hopefully the girls will they'll enjoy the victory, and they know what's at stake. We're coming off a 3-0 win this past Saturday versus Holy Child, in a game where the girls knew that they had to keep pace because Stardust had just played right before us, and they tied. So the girls are at this age. They know the standings. They know what's going on. With the points and places. So they were really happy about coming off the win on Saturday.
But it doesn't matter, right?
Ultimately, the league says it doesn't matter.
Score, right?
Yeah, ultimately, the league doesn't matter. But yet, they got standings and they got referees. So it's got to matter at some point. Some capacity. It's got to matter.
Otherwise, you could just have a parent referee in every game, right?
Or anybody. Just
Doesn't
let them play. There's no referees at all.
Why pay for a referee? Why pay for a referee? Why pay $40 a game?
Well, that's where the money is going to.
Take the money off the registration. Think about it.
You don't want to say that too loud. You might have a referee watching.
No.
So why pay the referee? The referee's probably saying, because you got to pay me.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, the league, they say it doesn't
I'm not
matter.
saying that I'm not in favor of paying the referees.
Well, this goes down to, once again, somebody from the league, anybody from the board there, either could call up or could come on the show and clear that up. You're right. We hear this all the time. These games don't matter. Nothing matters. The wins and all that stuff. But you got a standings, okay? And you have a referee system going on. So it has to matter somewhere. Again, we're calling out to anybody from the league to come on and explain that to us. Break it down. The viewers would like to know. That's how we'll end that topic. As far as the Lightning goes, I think it's worth noting, the team plays, they're not a perfect, not everything is working at the same time every week with them. There were games where I'm sitting there with Coach Vic and we're scratching our head, like, what, we just had a practice the night before. And sometimes the kids, they just forget. So, but overall, you look at the big picture. You look at 5-1, and you got who's not happy with 5-1?
You're 5-1. You're in Division 1.
Yeah, so you're guaranteed to stay there again for the spring season. It's worth noting we have a pretty good defensive. I don't want to say too much, in case Stardust sees watching the show tonight, but we're pretty sound. I think we're pretty sound in almost every position. And one player last week really stood out, Frank. And what was her name again? Allie? I think it was Allie. I think her first name was Allie. And I say stand out, and this is a player that, got a lot of playing time Sunday because of her work. She really worked hard, and she got a lot of playing time. She got rewarded that way. You know, and that's the way I coach. You know me. I got the privilege to coach the game because Coach Vic was away on other duties. I think he had another team. So, you know me, how I coach. I think more than anybody else. And if I see a player going, that player's staying. And I think she played. If it's 60 minutes the game, I think she probably played 50. And she's never played that much before. If she probably averaged maybe 15 to 20 minutes. So, yeah, and even her mom came over to me at the end of the game and says, thank you for letting her play so much. No. Thank your daughter for playing well. You know, I didn't do anything with that. So, I think we're pretty good in just about every position. And also, it might be also worth noting that we have one player that continues to score goals for the Lightning. We'll call her Gabriella the Star. That's her nickname, the team's brother. Averaging 2 goals a game. The only game the whole team was shut out was the first game of the season versus the Magic. But ever since then, it's either 2, 3, 1 goal a game. So,
does she stay in her position?
You know, the thing is with all these players, not really. If you know, to answer your question, no.
Nah.
But you know what? When you're playing the game, you hate to see that as a coach. You really don't want to see players out of position. But you understand it because the player comes back. Well, in her case, she comes back because it's the passion. She wants to get the ball out of there, you know, and wants to help the team.
The problem is there's nothing wrong with leaving your position. And here's what I noticed this weekend. And I had like this divine intervention about this whole positioning thing this weekend. And I think it's worth noting. It's very hard to hold your position and let's say, for argument's sake, one player be crowded. Like, let's say we had the Star all the way on the right side.
Right.
And, or let's say, take, for example, there was someone else on the left side and the Star was on the right side. And you have 4 girls crowding this other player for the ball. Yeah. To the point where she's smothered, where she can't even pass the ball out. What is she supposed to do? What's the Star supposed to do? Stand on the right side without coming to help?
Yeah.
That's just not how it's going to work. You're not going to take a 4-on-1 and say, oh, well, that's easy. The girl on the left should just pass the ball.
Yeah. Well,
passing the ball sounds great, but when you're 10 years old
we're at the youth level,
and you have 4 girls around you to the point where you can't even get the ball out, what is she supposed to do? Stand on the right side? Oh, here I am. You know, it's just not going to work that way.
Yeah, it's a tough spot.
Because when the other, my point is, if the other team's not holding their positions, it's very hard for you to hold yours.
Right, exactly. And at this age, they're not going to do it to the T yet. But you see some teams doing it better than others.
You know.
But hopefully they'll, you know, as the years go on and the days go on, you know, that they're learning. That's the key. You know, no matter what your record is, really. I mean, again, you're right. The games don't really matter. You're not winning, you know, but you really want to see. What you want to see is what? Progression, right? You want to see teams and also players just progress, play better. Especially if you're in this thing for 4, 5, 6 years. You don't want to. You want to see it, and if the team is together, you want to see them with better records.
Yeah.
You know, that's really all you can ask for. All right, Staten Island Soccer League. One more team I think I want to touch up on here, and that's the St. Margaret Mary
Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs. I'm looking at the standings right now, and I don't know if Benny Fazio's watching. We did reach out to him earlier. There was no comment or no answer on his phone.
Wow, they look like they're taking a bite.
Yeah.
Somebody with goals 4 at 29.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're really,
3.
They're laying it down, it looks like. You know, it is Division 2, U13 boys, Division 2. No, it's a photograph image of the standing, so we're not going to be able to scroll down. But they are in first place. They're 5-0. You know what? Congrats. You know, good job so far to Benny and his coaches, you know, at St. Margaret Mary there. They're 5-0, and they've scored 29 goals and only given up 3. So they definitely don't need me in net because they're not giving up too many goals, because that's what we mentioned on our last show. So if Benny's watching, we'd love to hear from you, and continued success for the rest of the way. Hopefully, you could get that perfect season, the one that I was never able to get. The perfect 8-0-0. All right, we'll move on from Staten Island Soccer League. Anything else you want to add? Anything else going on?
No.
We got the U13 girls division. I'm just taking a quick look at Richmond Town Wizards are in second place. They're 5 points behind Good Counsel. All right. There's plenty of soccer going on, Frank, in the world. We're gonna touch on the Women's World Cup that they got qualifiers going on right now. 2 games already played for the United States. United States defeating Trinidad 1-0 in their first game, which I think was a little surprised that the United States only scored a goal in that game. But again, what's the end result? You got the 3 points, right? And and the goal is to qualify. It doesn't matter how you get it or how you do it, as long as you get to Canada for next summer to play in the World Cup.
Absolutely.
A few days later, I think 3-4 days later, they played Guatemala, and I think they might have quieted a few critics, if they had any, after that first game. They beat Guatemala 5-0, and then they're back. They got this. I think we spoke about this off. The United States women's team have an 89-game unbeaten streak at home. 89 games. Can you picture that? Can you imagine 89 games without losing? This is at home. I don't know. They didn't mention the road record, but it's a pretty good home field advantage, I would say, for the United States women's team. And there you go. And there's the United States flag. Thank you, Brian, for that. And speaking of Brian, today Brian celebrates our technical director alongside with Guy Comier. Today, Brian celebrates a birthday. So at the end of the show, we'll definitely celebrate Brian's birthday and all appreciation for all the work he does here at the studio. Not only for this show, but this guy. I tell you, this guy, he's got his hand in probably every show that comes out of the studio. And not only this studio, but Studio B.
Yeah.
All right. And if there's any kind of award that we're going to be going to next month, we got the Nova Awards coming up here.
Yes.
All right, I got it. Brian's got to have something, because year in and year out, this guy has his hand on it, and he helps out a lot of people in the studio, and I definitely appreciate that, Brian, and I'm sure other producers around CTV appreciate all the help that you give. He's been here today alone since probably about 1:30.
And I'm sure he's loving it, every minute of it, if we know Brian.
I'm sure he loves everything.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
Want to wish you a happy birthday as well.
So just to wrap up, Frank, get back to the women's team. They're 2-0 in their qualifying games. Also, it's worth noting that Miss Morgan got injured again. She sprained her ankle that she, I believe, broke. And I believe we're getting a phone call. All right, you're on Staten Island Soccer Report, caller. All right, until we get the caller on, we'll continue here. Yeah, Frank, so Alex Morgan is now ruled out of qualifying games for the United States. All right, caller, you're on live on the Staten Island Soccer Report.
Hi.
Hi. I think I know who that voice is.
It's Marie.
Yes, Marie. Oh, perfect time. You know what? We were talking about your team a little while ago, but that's okay. Marie, what's going on with the Starlets, Marie?
Yay.
What's going on with them?
We're losing.
Okay, you know what, Marie? I'm going to make you an offer right now. Right now on live television on Staten Island. Marie. Let's see. What's her favorite food? What's your favorite food, Marie?
Mushrooms.
Pizza.
Pizza. Marie, free pizza for 1 year if you come join the Richmond Town Lightning. No? Yes or no? Is that a good deal or not? Staten Island needs to know.
Well, that I needs to know.
Yes. All right, Marie, what's going on? Is there anything you'd like to share about your soccer team?
We had to play on a field that was the size of a football field.
Yeah. That's the big thing. You're big time now, Marie. That's a regulation size field. I know.
And there was no ref. Every game there's no ref.
I would have called it. I would have just said no ref, no game. All right, Marie. Marie, we'll talk to you later on. Anything else you want to say about the Starlets? Turn your TV down, Marie. There's an echo. I didn't hear it 3 times. All right, Marie. What would you like to say about your team?
I would like to give a shout out to all the kids on my team.
All right, great job. Well, a shout out to the Great Kills Starlets, and let's get some wins.
I'm in the newspaper
Yes, you are.
for my school
What'd you do in your school? Why are you in the paper?
because we had a family fun run and me and my cousin took a picture with
Right.
my principal.
Okay,
And they said me and my cousin Allison were sisters.
Oh, you're pretty close. You're cousins. So, all right, that's good stuff, Marie. Good luck the rest of the way, the rest of the season here. And when you get out onto that field, Marie, remember one thing: work hard, and you'll get results. Okay? Always work hard. Practice and games. All right?
Okay.
All right, Marie. Have a good night.
Have
Thank
a
you
good
for
night.
calling. Thank you for calling.
Remember to check the newspaper.
All right, Frank. Just touch up. We have a few minutes to go here. We'll touch up on the United States women's team. Thank you for Marie for calling in. Again, Alex, I don't really think they need her
Yeah.
to qualify. They're definitely going to need her for the World Cup. So, get well soon. And, we'll see you in Canada next summer.
Yeah.
The U.S. has a couple more games to go. Then they'll clinch, and I think they'll play most of their reserves after that. So they're not as dominant, I don't think, as they've been. Maybe going back to like the '90s and stuff. But they're still a pretty damn good team. They
Yeah.
definitely are, and I think they take a lot of pride playing at home, as you can see with their record.
Yeah.
All right. That being said, with the women's, one more topic: the discrimination that a lot of these women are saying, as far as the World Cup goes, FIFA's put them on artificial turf. All right, and the discrimination part comes in where they're saying that the men's World Cup is always played on grass. Do they have a point? I think they do. They have an argument, yes, and I don't think they should play on turf. This is the World Cup. This is the biggest stage, right, of the sport.
Yeah.
Even on the women's side, it's the biggest stage.
Why? What's the reasoning? Have they even come back with anything? Like,
Well,
why?
I'll tell you this: FIFA again is right now hasn't said anything, so I can't go crazy on them yet. Maybe next month we'll have an answer by the next show. But FIFA has been quiet through this process, but the players have voiced their frustration about playing on artificial turf.
It's different. Whatever the reason is, why have them play on turf?
You know what, Frank? I'd hate to see it, but if there's any way that the women they could just go on strike or something, or just boycott it,
Yeah.
you'll probably see FIFA do something about it. It's probably money. It's a money thing. That's what it is. Grass.
But what are you gonna do? You're gonna answer the lawsuit and say it's about money?
Well, we'll see. Like I said,
It's gonna be interesting to see the way that they spin doctor it.
I'm sure these women don't want to go do any kind of strike or boycott a World Cup because you never know when you're going to be back.
Yeah,
That's the rough
unfortunately, it's
spot.
4 years.
But the game of soccer is not played on turf. I mean, these leagues around in the United States are the only ones that do it. Anywhere in Europe, they don't play on turf. Come on. And now FIFA wants to go to turf. That's a slap in the face. You know, that to me is a slap in the. Do it to the men. See what happens. I guarantee you there won't be a World Cup in Russia in 4 years from now. But again, we should have some more news on this coming up in our next show. It's very, very upsetting, all right, that they want to put the women on turf. It changes the game also with the way the ball bounces on turf, you know. And why would you want to do that? Anyway, before I get myself crazy about that, let's move on to, the Mickey Mouse League. You know, even the Staten Island Soccer League is run better than the Mickey Mouse League, which is the MLS, all right? And the Mickey Mouse Club is none other than the New York Red Bull. You know, you got a Mickey Mouse League and you got a Mickey Mouse Club. There you go. And I'm sure my daughter Ariana is watching and she's probably happy. She's like, Daddy. Anyhow, and the reason why I'm hopping on the Red Bull again, Frank, because they lost again last night. And a game where they had to have that they're clinging, or right now they're on the outside looking in of the playoffs with about 2 games, I think there is left. I think they finished at the end of the month. So there should be about 2 games to go for them. And if they don't get in, their coach is definitely gone. And this is going to be, what, coach number 100 in the 20 years of this team? Like, you know? When are they going to get it right? That's my question. When are the Red Bulls going to get this thing right? Well, we'll see next year because we got the New York FC coming in, and we'll see how they fare in their first season. For some strange reason, I think they're going to do a lot better, maybe even win a title before the Red Bulls do. So, you know, we got some scores from last night. Donovan played his last home game to a 2-2, last home regular season game, I should say, because they're going to make the playoffs. They're in second place in their conference, I believe. Yeah, they're in second place. So the Galaxy will be in. So Donovan, again, retiring after the season. Again, nobody knows why. He's only 30. He's in his mid-30s. Nobody knows why he's retiring. 2-2 game against Seattle. San Jose and Vancouver played to a scoreless tie. We'll go down a few of the scores here, Frank. Philly beats KC 2-1. Toronto tied Montreal with the Canadian battle there. That's the battle of the Canadian teams, 1-1. We got Houston and New England. Houston beating New England 2-1. These are all scores from last night. The Red Bull losing 3-1. DC United, which is a surprising team. They're in first place. And this team rode the basement for the last few years. All right, they made some changes there. They beat Chicago 2-1. Colorado losing to Dallas 1-0. Portland and Real Salt Lake, they played on Friday the 17th. They were scoreless, and one game going back to last week, Dallas beat LA. That was last weekend, 2-1. So, I mean, you know, the standings, you know, it shows. I mean, well, New York was one of the best teams last season, but flopped in the playoffs. I mean, I don't know. When are they going to get this thing right? You know, is it the leadership there? Is it the management? Is it the coaching? I got to say it is, because, again, like we discussed with the youth teams, you had time. You have to make some kind of progress here, you know. Winning a regular season title means nothing if you don't win the whole thing, you know, if you flop in the playoffs. So with that being said, Frank, we'll move on. We've got another topic. I think Brian has a roll-in. I would like Brian to find the roll-in of Super Mario, and if he can please play it, and then we'll get on to the topic about Mario Balotelli. There's some negative things going on with him. What else is new? AC Milan playing a lot better. We might have the video here. All right, let's take a look at this video. We're going to focus on Super Mario, who's going to receive the ball right here. All right, he's going to take this shot, and we'll go back to this. What a goal by Mario, Frank. We're going to go back to this all the time, because that right there shows me there's something in him, something good. Who scores goals like that? Thank you for Brian for posting that. I mean, as you can see, there's no celebration for Mario. His teammates come over to him. And here's another look at it, Frank. I mean, what he did last year for Milan, he had a great season for them. Even though the team didn't play well, he did. And this is one of his great goals from last season. All right? Now, there's something going on with him in England. All right, Frank, there's 6 games in. Thank you, Brian, for the rolling. 6 games in now, you know. He's played 424 minutes, and he's taken 30 shots. But the real stat here that really stands out, he's got 0 goals, Frank. 6 games, I expect this man, with that, well, you just saw there, with the talent, with that shot, okay? He's got to have a couple goals, at least a couple goals. I mean, I'm not saying score every game.
Yeah.
But there's something going on with him. And, you know, hopefully, for his sake, Liverpool is playing for now. And I just don't, I hope, I liked him. I mean, the Italian national team has now called him back since the new coach took over. So if he's playing like this, he's never going to get called in.
Yeah.
He will never get called, and they're playing qualifying games for the European Cup, Italy. So, you know what, good luck to Mario. I really don't know much about what's going on. He's playing in England, and, just get it right. The guy's got a world of talent. I heard some guys on ESPN saying that he's just he's trying so hard to be good.
Yeah.
That might be taken away from his game. He doesn't have to try to be good. Surround the guy with good people. Put him in a situation where, hopefully he is. I wish he would have never left Italy, but, players go and contracts call you. So let's see what else we got going on there, Frank. I was going to mention AC Milan. They're doing great this season. We mentioned a minute ago that they didn't have a good season last year, but they're playing under Inzaghi, who's now the coach there, also a former player from AC Milan and the national team. One of my favorite players also. A goal-scoring guy. He's an offensive guy. So they're playing a lot better now. They're, I believe, in 4th place in Serie A. I think we have the standings here somewhere. Oh, maybe we don't. But, I think, yeah, they're definitely in 4th place. Oh, this is okay, yeah. They're definitely in 4th place. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we got Juventus sitting on top, Frank. What else is new with Juventus, really? I mean, this team is just like a machine. I got to tell you, if they have to do some damage in the Champions League this year. You can't give me a quick exit like they normally do.
Yeah.
They dominate the Italian league year in and year out, all right? They got great players. Most of their players are on the national team. Roma, I mean, this is like a carbon copy of last season's standings.
Yeah.
Roma, the only difference is the 3rd place team, Sampdoria, has improved. It's still early. They're only 7 games in, as you could see. But Milan is also, Sampdoria may be a team where we really don't know yet. But Milan is for real, I think, and they're only 5 points out of 1st place. But I see Milan coming in, 2nd, maybe 3rd in this standings for this year. Udinese is in 5th. Lazio is in 6th place. Napoli has dropped off from last season. They were a team pushing for 1st place. So I don't know what's going on with Napoli. We'd have to bring in Ludovico Masucci. He's been on the show. He's a huge Napoli fan, and we could get an insight from him on his team. We got Verona. They're you know what? Number 8 for that team. They're not. We'll see how much they can improve, but I don't see them really climbing the ladder that much more. Inter is sitting at number 9, and number 10 is Fiorentina. That's to wrap up the top 10. Palermo sitting at 16. Just notable teams that supposed to be on top of the ladder here. That's it. I think everybody else belongs where they are right now in Italy for the Italian league. I got to tell you, before we wrap up the show here, we've got a couple minutes to go. How long is Buffon going to play? He's still playing qualifying games for Italy at the age, don't quote me on this. I know he's in his mid-30s. He's got to be around 35. But the guy's still producing at international level, because he's playing against the best of the best.
Yeah.
So if he's getting shutouts, the 2 qualifying games Italy played, one was 2-0, and then I believe the second one was 2. I'm sorry, the first one was 2-1. The second was 2-0. So he gave up 1 goal in 2 international games. You know, that tells me he still has something.
Yeah.
All right. I love the guy, so as far as I go, he could play until he's 90. Doesn't matter to me, you know. All right, Frank, we're about to wrap up. Maybe we could, I think we just about covered everything with the soccer from afar. And, you know, we usually don't do much. I don't know if there's any viewers out there. We really don't touch much up on the Premier League. You know, we don't do much for whatever reason. So if there's any callers that want to know about that or have any information on that, they can always call in. Anything else you want to cover before we go? We got about a minute. Any other sports? Football. I know we had a big weekend yesterday. The Giants flopping to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The Jets lost on Thursday. You know, I think for football around here, if the Giants don't get their act together, you know, maybe if they don't win the next game, at least be 500. There's really nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, the Jets, we all know what's going on with the Jets. You know, you don't have to be a genius to figure out what's going on with the Jets. They're going to fire their coach, and hopefully the new regime will get things turned around. Although I will say this, and I'm not a Jet fan, but I do know when they have some talent. And Geno Smith, I really think he has something there. There's something with him. All right, he need to prove it against the Patriots. And that's the team you need to prove it against because it's a division rivalry.
Yeah.
All right, you played them twice a year. And if it wasn't for mistakes, I think the first play of the game, that bomb, if you saw that game, the defender falls down. If he doesn't score, that's a gift. So that might have been a different score.
Yeah, you know. But unfortunately, you know, as much as you're praising Geno here, they did score only 4 field goals.
You know what? That's okay. But did he take the team up? Don't forget, he's still kind of like a rookie.
Yeah.
He's still very young. And, you know, and in this league, you have to go. In the NFL, you got to go through your lumps. I don't care who you are. I think everyone goes through them.
Yeah.
All right, he's going to learn from it. Well, there's the music. And you know what? We got a couple of our girls that are going to come in and end the show. Frank, once again, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
And thank you to the viewers for watching. And we'll see you guys soon.
Thanks again to the crew.
No. Just pass it with your hands. Pass with your hands.